Hey there, empowered peeps. I'm Ryan to the rescue. And today we're going to talk about jump starting your car. This is a skill that every driver should know. Let me tell you a little bit about the cables first. You're going to want to get cables that are good quality. The lower the gauge, the thicker the cable, and that's what you're looking for. And sometimes in safety packs, they put in a really cheap set of jumper cables with a really thin cable, and sometimes they're made out of aluminum and they are not safe. They can even melt in the process. So I suggest if you have some of those, toss them out and get yourself a good set. And if you're buying new jumper cables, you might consider getting some that are 20 feet long because you never know when your battery is going to die and it may not be in a convenient location. What if it's in a parking garage or it's in a place where you can't get another car up really close to it? Those 20 feet long jumper cables will really come in handy. Jumper cables are almost always red and black, and the black lead is the negative one or the grounding one, and the red one is the positive one. That's the one where the electricity flows through. Sometimes you'll find jumper cables in other colors, but the black is always going to stay consistent. It's going to be the negative one, and then the contrasting color, yellow in this case, will be the positive one. By the way, I provided a guide for you so that you can keep it and look back on it, and that will help you remember the proper way to jumpstart a car. So please look for that a little bit later in this video, but for right now, let's get back to talking about jumper cables. My daughter called me this morning and she told me that her battery died. So I quick put on my work jumpsuit and I've got my jumper cables, and now it's Mama Ryan to the rescue on her way to save the day. Come along with me and I'll show you how to jumpstart a car. All right, here we are at my daughter's car, and there's a few things that we need to do before we even get started with the jumping process. First of all, park the good car as close as you can next to the dead car. And then pop both hoods and locate the battery, and then stretch out the jumper cable and make sure it's going to reach from one to the other. If it doesn't, you may have to reposition the good car to get to a better angle to reach the dead car. Then in both cars, turn off everything you can, meaning the radio, any lights, and unplug chargers as well. Make sure both cars are in park, and then turn off the ignition, and if you have a key, remove that too. Okay, now it's time to get the leads all attached to the appropriate places in each of the vehicles. The order that you put these on is extremely important. So I'm going to first put these down on the ground, not touching each other. Then the very first one that goes on is the red one on the dead car, okay? So the red one goes on the positive battery post right here, and then get it on there really good. If you have any corrosion, then you might want to wipe or knock that off, and then just wiggle it on and make sure you have a good connection. Then the black one, you're just going to set down on somewhere that's plastic in the car. Now we need to go over to the car with the good battery. Now at the car with the good battery, you're going to attach the red one, but make sure these two don't touch each other. So in the BMW, by the way, the battery is in the back. But even though the battery's in the back, it has the positive post right here in the front. So you can still charge a car with this positive post in the front, even though the battery's in the back. So we put the positive one right here on this post. And again, wiggle it around and make sure you have a good connection. Now, still at the car with the good battery, we're going to attach the black one, which is the negative one, to just a piece of metal in the car. By the way, in years past, it was taught that people clamp the negative clamp onto the negative post on the battery. But many times explosions would occur. So that teaching was canceled, and now what is recommended, a safer technique, which is what I'm showing you in this video. The black one doesn't have to go on the negative post of the battery. As a matter of fact, it's not supposed to go on the negative post of the battery because sometimes there are gases that arise up off of the battery, and when you put the black one on the negative post of the battery, it can cause a spark and it can ignite some gases. So the black one is just the grounding lead anyway. So all you have to do is find some place in the car that is metal, that is not painted, and it's not near a fan or any moving parts. So I'm going to clamp it right here. And I made sure that I still have a good attachment here on my positive one. Then once you have the black one on a good spot, then you just make sure your cables come straight out of the car. You don't want them winding around underneath the hood. All right, now we need to attach the last lead, and it's back over here on the dead car. So we had it just laying here on the plastic. Now I'm going to find a good place to attach it to metal. Remember, not here on the negative post, but a metal place in the car. So a nut is a good place to do it, so I'm going to put it right on here and attach it down good. Okay, now we have all 4 leads attached under both cars' hoods. And so the next step is to start the engine of the good car. And so I'm going to start this up. Now I'm going to let this engine run for 2 minutes. That way it can send some juice over to the dead battery. All right, now the good car has been running for 2 minutes. And let's see if we brought this one back to life. Yes, success! All right, now we're going to leave this one running, and then we can go ahead and turn off the car with the good battery and then remove all of the leads. The dead car is now working. Now we need to take off all of the leads, and it's important that we do it in the right order, which is the opposite of the way we put them on. So we're going to start out with the black one on the car that was formerly dead and is now alive. So now we take off the black one, and remember, it needs to just lay on plastic while we go back over to the car that was the good car. So let's go over here. Then we take off the black one first, and then the red one. Don't let them touch. Set them down like this. And now the final one, we take off the red one from the car that was formerly dead. Now these are safe to move around. They can touch each other, that's fine. All right, we have achieved success. Now my daughter can drive her car home. If you follow all those steps and then you turn your ignition and it still doesn't start, then leave the car with the good battery running for 5 more minutes to continue to charge the dead battery. And then try starting your car again. If it still doesn't work, then there's a good chance you might need another battery. If it does work, you're going to want to drive your car for at least 10 to 15 minutes because that'll help charge up your battery again. And you might consider asking your friend to follow you home. That way, if you happen to have any other battery issues, they're right there to help you. So if your car battery's dead, grab some jumper cables and jump start it. We can do it.